Hey.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Final Split. Our first one after AGDQ. We've all had a little time to unwind, shake all that out of our system. Shake it off if you're pie, whatever the case is.
Gotta shake it off.
There you go. Thank you for the charades, guys. I really appreciate it.
Fireball.
Yeah, the clarification. Fireball. Okay, we're getting that in there too. Speaking of fireball, just keeping it hot always. We've got Spike Vegeta with us in the red box.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What did you do this week, man?
I have been playing. Well, I officially agreed to my next acting gig that I'll be starting up in March. So that's cool.
Oh, very nice.
Right after AGDQ, so I will be paying for rent. It'll be great. I will have a place to live.
That's always good.
And I am super excited because next week I'm actually going to be heading over to AOD convention in San Francisco.
That's right.
With Rom Scout, Trihex. I think Bujin's actually going to stop by, so that's cool. And yeah, we're going to be running Tropical Freeze. Trihex is doing, of course, Yoshi's Island Hundo. Rom Scout's doing some Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There'll be a bunch of good runs. This should be a lot of fun.
That's really cool.
It's my first time to the West Coast, so yeah, San Francisco.
Oh, nice.
Hope it's good.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
It's
those
awesome,
ideas.
man.
Yeah.
That's ever.
I was talking to my brother and my sister-in-law, and they were like, "Oh, you're not going to want to come back, San Francisco." So yeah, I'm looking forward.
You're gonna get a call from Spike, like, yeah, I'm not.
I'm staying out here tonight. Yeah, I might be back next year. I don't know.
I'm done.
No, but that's really cool. I'm excited to see what comes of that, and I guess obviously this is your first time doing that, so. Mm-hmm. Have fun with it, and yeah, it should be an interesting, different kind of venue to play in.
For sure.
I'm assuming they have like a live crowd there too.
Yeah, I'm almost like setting myself up for not disappointment, but we're so used to going to the GDQs where we're live, and it's a very speedrun savvy audience. Which, well, I'll talk about that later, but it's a speedrun savvy audience, and now you're going to go out to San Francisco for this like general convention. Is it going to have kind of a DreamHack feel where there's going to be, 5 random people walking by and say, oh, what is this random thing going on right now? And you're going to be talking effectively to no one. Maybe it's a big thing. I don't know. They made a pretty big deal about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's starting to build a name for itself anyway, especially at AOD specifically. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Sinister One is joining us again for the recap episode in the green box. Yeah. Welcome back.
Nice.
Right, you're going to make this a regular thing here at some point.
I know, man. What's happening here?
We're slowly drawing you back in, but
you guys are just reeling me back in.
That's right. What have you been up to? What have you been working on?
Well, I haven't given up on Punch Out yet.
That's good.
It's been difficult, but I got an attempt at Mike Tyson the other day, so that was progress. I usually don't make it past King Hippo, so we're getting there. We're getting places.
Sounds like it's in the near future, I think.
I sure hope so, man. I've had enough of that game, actually.
Oh, okay. There you go. And joining us in the blue box, also making a return from let's see, it must have been just a couple weeks ago we had you on again. We've got Darkman78 with an A, mind you. Let me remind everybody, it's an A, not the Darkman. It's the Darkman. So,
thank you.
How's it going?
It's going well. Can't complain.
Can't complain? Can't complain. That's a very Minnesotan thing to say. We always say can't complain when someone asks, so there you go. All right, with enough of that, let's go ahead and actually get to some of the stuff you guys want to talk about. It's time to start the show with a little press start here. And first up, we've got a pretty cool thing that happened here the last couple of days, kind of an ongoing improvement. Super Mario World, the credits warp run has been verified on console. Seth Bling completing a series of runs, actually, the last couple of days, I guess, improving it. We're kind of having some Skype issues here, but we'll work through them. We'll try anyway. But yeah, so this was a run that we actually showed a couple of months ago on our show. Jeff W. had done a run on emulator, showcasing this, I guess, credits warp route being able to be performed in real time. And now Seth Bling has gone a step further and done it on console. and I believe the time is under 5 minutes. I want to say it's like a 4:49, something in that range, 4:50. Might be wrong on the exact number there, but if somebody can link it, actually, if somebody in chat can link the run, that would be pretty cool. I forgot to put it on the layout here. But anyway, I guess I'll open it up to you guys. What do you think about the credits run of SMW?
Yawn.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm a terrible person.
Dude, no, is that how you actually feel? Let it flow. Let it flow. Is that?
I feel like, I haven't been on the show that much lately, but when I was on the show as a regular, we certainly had a lot of credits warp and wrong warp type of stuff going on. It seemed like every week there was kind of a new one, so I haven't actually watched it yet, and I've heard it's very difficult. So I'm, much respect to Seth Blink for actually pulling it off. I'm sure it's not easy. I don't know. I guess I'm just not really big into finishing games that way.
Yeah, I can understand. It's kind of a niche category. Like, I don't think you're going to see a lot of SMW players competing over this, or people trying to quote unquote take the record in it. I think it kind of reminds me of like BJW's Secret of Mana shenanigans that he had a while ago, where he accidentally found the warp to the end of that game, and people jumped on that for a few days. And also Mega Man with the Wiggle. For a while, people were doing runs where they actually were going into Iceman stage and getting the course clear. And I think that lasted all of maybe like 2 or 3 days before they decided, okay, well, that was fun. Like, that was,
it's like a little fad, It's just kind of flares up.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's especially worth noting. Like, I don't think this obsoletes your typical, like, your cloud runs or your orb runs or whatever any percent you choose to run. I still think that's going to be kind of the primary any percent category. If I was to make a guess, like, I don't think people are going to jump on board too heavily with the credits run. That being said, I think it's really impressive. I think it's really cool, and I'm glad somebody was able to do it on console and just kind of put that final verification in that, okay, any doubts you might have had about that run. I know, especially when Jeff W. had done that run, there was a lot of questioning going on, saying, like, is this real? Was this, was this maybe something that was tool assisted or something? But I like that there's kind of that solidification that, yes, it's real, and we can kind of eliminate any of that doubt that might have been out there. Any other thoughts you guys have? Spike, do you got anything?
Sure. I mean, I think Mr. Cab's post in chat is exactly how I feel. Credits warps are cute. Like, they're a fine little party trick. I love pulling them out, like at a GDQ, where we've done a more, I hate to use this word, but legit run, where you're actually seeing, I don't want to take away, like, it's not that it wasn't skillful that he did it, but you do watch it, and it's sort of almost a little derpy in a way. It doesn't feel like it does not resemble at all what the game is that you remember. And we can say that about all speedruns. But the biggest thing I want to say is also lost in the translation of all of this, lost in the shuffle more so, is Green Death Flavors. What is this time now? A
9:48? Is that right?
9:48, an incredible time when you discount this goofy wrong word category. Again, I don't want to take anything from Seth Bling. I think if people want to view this as a positive thing, it does get more. Seth Bling is a huge name on YouTube.
Yep.
This is going to hopefully get more people just in the idea of, oh, what is speedrunning? This kind of weird, goofy concept in itself.
It's worth noting that this was no small, under-noticed thing. It was trending on Facebook earlier today. So
yeah, I saw that.
You're on Facebook today and you see Super Mario World over in your trending topics. That was it. That was the run.
Right. So, but again, going back to it, it is nice to see within this, another big member of the speedrunning community, Green Death Flavor, getting the 9:48. Hopefully that is just as recognized, at least within the speedrunning community. The only thing I would have liked to have seen was Seth Bling in his excitement of claiming the any percent record. And you can't call it anything else. It is the any percent if people are worried about titles. But almost to also give a tweet something to it to congratulate Green Death on his time as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, I don't think Seth Bling has, not acknowledged other runs. Like earlier in the week, he actually had a run that didn't beat Jeff W's time, and he was quick to say, Jeff W's timing is faster than mine. But I think what ends up happening as a result of this is that possibly there's going to be a lot of people who hear this and they see Seth Bling's run, and then let's say like a few weeks from now, Green Death Flavor improves your standard any percent or your cloud percent. Let's say he improves that. I get the sense that there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to say, "Well, Seth Bling beat the game in 4 minutes. Like why?" Why does this matter? Why should I be impressed by that? So I hope it's not the kind of thing where there's category misinformation going on or anything like that. I think by now we're kind of used to these wrong warps getting found, and then from there's more separation going on. But that's also one of the things I always think is really interesting about world records in general, is that a lot of times categories tell you what you can't do, but they don't tell you what you can do until it's like too late. Somebody has to do something to force a category to kind of shape up and get like an actual definition. So sure. Yoshi's Island ran through that a while ago with the null egg and all of that. So yeah, it's interesting to me. It's just one of those things that you're always going to have to be a little bit clearer about what falls into what category. But all of that aside, you can get into the specifics and the politics of it. I think the credits warp run itself was just pretty cool to see done on console. So I guess the follow-up question is it consistent? Is it the kind of thing where you could actually showcase it somewhere if you were asked to do it live? So consistent setups.
Maybe not yet, but maybe eventually. I mean, the Super Mario Brothers 3 wasn't thought to be consistent when it first came out.
And I don't even know if you asked Mitch for that run, would he have told you it was consistent, or would he say I'm a lucky guy?
Well, I mean, maybe consistent is the wrong word. I mean, it's like would you even attempt this at a GDQ kind of thing?
Sure.
I think maybe right now the SMW the answer is no, but in like 6 months from now, it's like, oh yeah, maybe we could try it.
Yeah, they're finding more and more setups every day. You can imagine you could get to a point where it would at least be on the same level as SMB3. And you at least pitch to people, hey, Seth Bling, YouTube star, coming in to, give us an attempt. He's going to jump on Koopa shells for 5 minutes and we'll see what happens.
You're going to do a bunch of stuff you don't understand, and hopefully it's going to result in something. So, yeah. Darkman, you got any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I want to say is, you should always appreciate a run like this, because it is, as speedrunners, we should always be appreciative of something that goes faster than something else. And yeah, I agree with Spike in that it's just a weird type of run, but you should always appreciate it for what it is. And then afterwards, once the novelty of it is over, then you can go back to category discussion and say, oh, hey, maybe we should go back to that. And those things eventually sort themselves out.
Yeah.
So, rather than just get all up in it about, oh, hey, forget this, or this run is stupid or whatever, not just say, it's a fast run and things will sort themselves out.
I will say the final thought that I have on this is that I'm just impressed at the amount of people who were excited about it and jumped on board to mention it. I noticed it was all over the internet, not specific to just our speedrun or Facebook in this case. I guess we have to put that on their YouTube, but people were just excited about it, and it was cool to see just a lot of enthusiasm. So
reminds me of the old OOT when the wrong warp was discovered.
Kind of, yeah. It just brought some excitement into the game. So from that point, and I noticed I'm not keeping up with my it's been a while. I'm not keeping up with my splits, guys. We're falling behind. Let's go ahead and get into kind of the bulk of the show. It's going to be kind of a recap episode today as we take a look at AGDQ and remember back to better times. Let's start by, I kind of want to piece together, it's going to be kind of a feedback show, so kind of go piece by piece and review AGDQ as a whole. I want to start with the hotel, because that's something that we all got to experience. Hashtag shower door. But anyway, what did you guys think of the AGDQ hotel? Maybe we can even break that up further and go with, what did you think of the marathon space versus, your stay at the hotel? What did you think overall?
Ooh.
I'm going to go first, just to get myself out of the way.
There you go.
Disclaimer, I did not stay at the hotel. I stayed at a friend's house that's very close to the hotel, but obviously I was still at the event, so I got to see a good amount of the hotel outside of just, staying in a room. I think the biggest issue, of course, is not inside the hotel, it's outside the hotel, which is where's the food at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's thing is, I've never seen so much Papa John's pizza in my life.
There was a lot of pizza being ordered.
I think that it was a bit of an issue, but people overcame. Nobody starved. It's everybody got fed. I think that the space, the actual stream room itself, was big and it accommodated everybody. Would it accommodate everybody next year? Possibly. When you went in there was a lot of empty seats at a lot of times. There was only a few runs where it was super, super packed. And, I think the setup, it was kind of interesting not having the audience behind you as you normally would, but having them kind of on the side.
Sure.
It was cool because you could look over and see them.
Right. You could peek at them and they kind of could see you, but they weren't distracting as far as.
Yeah, you're like far enough away. You're like in your own little place over there.
You don't got the guy like in the 6th row, like lifting his shirt up and dancing, belly dancing on stream or something.
So I would say stream room was good. I think the practice room was good. I like the fact that they actually had somebody in there like managing all the extra consoles.
Yeah, I thought that was really useful. And the practice room, just a lot of space too.
Yeah, a lot of space in the practice room. They had the secret practice room, which was like, well, not secret, but for runners only, I guess, or something like that. Nobody was there. Like if you're a runner and you wanted to practice, you definitely could get practice in that room. I didn't go in the casual room too much, but it seemed okay.
Let me ask a question to all of you on that note. What did you think about having the room split like that? Did you ever go to the rooms that were in the basement? Did you even know we had rooms in the basement?
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one room where we rehearsed the relay actually.
Oh, okay. So you guys found good use for that then?
Yeah. I would say so. But yeah, I think it was kind of good in a way to have some rooms like that where not everybody's there. Because the big thing at AGDQ 2014 was there was times in the practice room where it was just a mess.
Yep.
And it was like, get some people out of here. Like,
right.
Like, what's going on? I remember getting really angry at one point when I was practicing Rescue Rangers with Feasel and wanting to just like get up and scream at people, but I restrained myself. But this year that wasn't an issue. So I think it was I'm saying it's an improvement. All right. So that was an improvement. Stream room, I think, was overall, I think I would say that the hotel was good outside of just the food issues and probably issues that you guys are gonna bring up.
I saw Spike's.
Don't be surprised if we're there next year. Just saying.
Okay, you're thinking it gets the Sinister One seal of approval?
I would say so. Yeah. Okay. I also have a car, so
there you go. Well, Spike, I saw your face when he said food options. I saw you kind of bit your teeth or bit your tongue or something. What do you think about the
I just like the statement about, well, no one's starving to death. We have met our quota.
There we go.
That is our quota we're meeting. No one died in the course of this event. So obviously it's perfect. No. Like I agree a lot with what you're saying. Like a lot of the general setup of the rooms was really good. I actually liked the marathon room. I liked having a certain amount of space between. I know Twitch chat, but they'll jump on anything. It was nice having this disconnect of you did have this huge audience there. It's not like you as the runner didn't realize they were there, but you had kind of your own pit where it could be just kind of you and your boys or you and your girls, like whatever it needed to be. I thought the practice room was excellent. Big shout outs to World 9 Gaming for providing. I didn't know like all those TVs, so that was really cool. I was wondering where they got all those TVs for the event. I'm like you, for both the Kingdom Hearts and the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze runs, we actually heavily utilized the runner room to prepare for our runs building up to that, and I thought it was excellent. I really did like having a place where nobody else was going to come in. You weren't going to have Smash or even people just doing like somewhat casual races going on, like going crazy around you. The only thing I would have complained about the runner room is it felt like it was so barren, and not of people, but there weren't power strips anywhere.
Oh wow, okay.
There was like 2 outlets like on the walls, so it was really like if you had a run coming up like next, that was when you got in there. But yeah, if this is one complaint, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can talk about here, so I probably shouldn't go off on this, but I will just a little bit. I felt like people were almost a little too anal about keeping anything that was Smash specifically out of the casual room.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I feel like there's the spirit of the rule to me. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. The spirit of the rule I felt with was okay. There used to be just one casual room. And now on the day they would have the melee tournament, it would take over the entire room, and there was nobody else could get in there. You couldn't play your Mario Party or your casual races or Barney hide and seek, whatever you want to play. You couldn't get in there and do it. So I felt the tournament room was made for specifically really that tournament, or if you wanted to have a Fighting Masters tournament or whatever the hell you wanted, and not just we're eight people doing super casual Smash, so we can't have that specific video game because this problem came up and everyone had to stop playing and go down to the tournament room, even though that's not what I feel the spirit of what the tournament room actually was. It would have been the same thing if everybody decided we're going to do a huge SM64 120 star race and you take over the entire casual room doing it. I feel like that's more likely, or that should have been sent down to the casual room before,
the sense I got of the tournament room was that it was just intended to be a room to contain noise. Like, it was supposed to be if you're going to be shouting, or whatever, or if you're organizing any sort of event with a group of people, it should be done in the tournament room. And it kind of was interesting that the casual room ended up being a place where there were a lot of big like relay races going on in the casual room. I saw Rock Band was another one that comes to mind where, okay, if you're really going to try to contain noise, Rock Band in the casual room strikes me as maybe falling in that same category as Smash. But
I don't know, like, did they? I don't feel like they like. I feel like there was the tournaments or the stream side of the conference rooms, the practice room, and the streaming room itself, and then there was we don't care about this side. Do what you want over there.
Yep.
So I feel like I don't know. The casual room was always loud. I don't understand like why you would make the disconnect between that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Keeping it, it should. I guess also worth noting too, the practice room. I was impressed by this. Actually, this was something I was concerned about going into it. I had the sense that they were going to bar you from doing anything in the practice room unless you were specifically practicing. And it was clear after about day one that a lot of people were in there just playing games to play games, but they weren't being so obnoxious that they had to enforce anything. I think for the most part, people kind of did a good job of, okay, I might not be practicing for the marathon, but I like this space and I'm not going to be, super obnoxious at my spot. And if somebody wants to practice, they can have my spot. So
yeah, there was a little sense of like a mix in every single room. There was casual stuff and serious stuff going on in kind of every single room. So, and I appreciate that there wasn't like super enforcement. The only super enforcement I saw was out of line, in my opinion, kicking like 8-way Smash 4 super casual crap out of that down into the tournament room.
Okay. So, Darkman Hotel, what do you think? Either about the venue or your stay?
So I think the layout was all great, and I really didn't have any issues with it. I really liked at first I was kind of concerned about the tournament room and the runner room being so close to each other, but I did use it like once after my run, ironically enough, but the one time I used it, I never heard anything from the tournament room, so I think it worked well in that regards. And the practice room and the stream room were laid out well. Like, again, big shout out to World 9 Gaming for having all that equipment there and the TVs. So I think everything worked out well there. Honestly, the practice room never had any issues with like capacity. Maybe once when like Krauser was trying to practice and there was no TVs, so I just gave up my TV for him. But that was just like one time.
Yeah, I mean, I think generally speaking, for the most part, the practice room never was overcrowded, despite how many people were there. Like, I never felt like it was a competition to get on TV for the most part. There was maybe a time or two.
The one thing that really bugged me was the location. Like, let me put it from this perspective. I had a car, right? And honestly,
oh no,
with a car, I've never felt more isolated from an event than at AGDQ this time. It was really bad because you're in your room and then you have a car and you're ready to get lunch, and it's like, well, my roommates are in my room. I can't just like ignore them and say, all right, peace, nerds. I'm going to other people. So it's like, all right, hey guys, you want to go out? And they're all like, yeah, sure. I want to go out. So I go out with them, and it's like repeat the process every day. So I'm going out to lunch and dinner with like the same people. I'm never really interacting with other people. So having that access to transportation never made me feel more isolated than that moment.
Interesting.
It was really, really, I just felt it kind of put a damper on the whole marathon for me, to be honest. Like at one point late in the marathon, I just felt kind of like icky, it didn't really feel as good as it did in the past. So yeah, I just honestly, I would really hope they strongly try to consider other venues for next year. I mean, if they can't find another one, it is what it is, because other than that, this venue has been really good overall. I really liked everything about it aside from the weird shower door.
The weird shower door, never gonna get over it.
Just room with somebody else that has a car next time.
There you go.
Man.
Well,
yeah, there you go.
And let me just add on to the car point for a minute, because I've heard other people that had cars there kind of mentioning the same concerns. Where, first of all, if you didn't have a car, you were either eating at the hotel restaurant and spending a lot of money and getting questionable amounts of service from what I've heard. Some people said that the service was great. Others had one of the waiter curled a basket of bread onto the table and knocked over a water glass.
Curled.
I can't use any other vocabulary word. It was actually like he was curling for the Olympic team.
Imagine he's got the broom out.
Yeah, he's like hard. But yeah, so you were either stuck with the hotel restaurants or getting tons and tons of pizza, or I also heard of people just skipping meals because they had no easy way to get food. So, and then the opposite side of that is if you had a car, there was kind of an extra pressure on you to provide for people and to constantly be on the road. I heard some people were really peeved about that they kind of felt like, hey, we have to have this extra responsibility to take care of us. So I would say, like, if we do this hotel again next year, one thing I would look for is if there was an opportunity to get some sort of, not even providing the food for free necessarily, but just getting food vendors into the venue to maybe provide a meal or two.
They would make a lot of money.
They would make a lot of money. Yes, they would.
That would
Like,
be my
did you see-
pitch to them.
Let me tell you.
I don't know if hotels want to allow that.
That might not be allowed either. Yeah, but I would think.
Well, that's taking away business from our restaurants. So
Could
we
be.
don't want to allow food vendors.
I would think with as big as the GDQs are getting now, though, that they'd have some leverage on that. I don't know. I feel like if you're negotiating it,
It's paying you a lot of money.
Right.
Not only is it big, but it's in the middle of like the most like downtime for hotels. It's like, it's like a
right.
godsend
It's free money
us
for
to be
them
coming
if
there.
they
Yeah.
accept the venue. Yeah. So I don't know. I would say, like, I'm kind of in the same boat that you mentioned, Darkman, where I would say don't stop looking for venues. If I'm in that position, I would keep looking. But if we go back there again, it's a good venue for what it was. It's just that food is the big one for me. But all right, let's move on, and we're gonna get stuck on the venue all day. Why don't we go ahead and talk next about stream layouts? We had some new stream layouts this time around. They were custom designed for this AGDQ. What did you think of the stream layouts? What would you say overall? What were you impressed by? What did you think could use some improvement? And go ahead, anybody that wants to jump in.
I might as well start first.
There you go.
I thought the layouts were fantastic. It's just such a big step up from previous years. Like, it just looks great. Like, everything is just visually appealing. I mean, big shout outs. I forgot who the guy that was that did it, but big shout outs to him. I mean, he did a fantastic job. I would say my one chief area of concern was they spent too much time keeping the screen on the sponsors, and then, like, after you get through the sponsors, it's like 2 seconds of, oh, hey, run up next, and then 2 seconds of, oh, hey, this is this guy's name or whatever, like that, or like this is the current game, and then 2 seconds later, okay, sponsors for another minute. So that was probably my biggest like peeve about it, but other than that, I think it was fantastic.
It was a solid B.
Solid B.
It was, and I genuinely, like, I'm positive with this. I thought this has been by far their best layout they've ever had. So if you do the math, think about the other ones in the past. But anyways, so yeah, this has been a solid B for them. That being said, I don't think they should sit on this and say this was good. I think there's a lot of things they can still improve on. That is my biggest gripe. I definitely agree with Darkman. I feel like you don't have to take up a quarter or even a sixth of the stream layout to constantly show these are the people who are sponsoring us, considering how often the hosts, we're plugging them in between the streams or in between the runs and during the runs even. How often just in between the runs, you can just have the big screen, the other scene you can go to where it can show all of them. And you can maybe show a little bit more about the individual. I'm like you, Darkman. I want to see, even if you did have a little bit of them, maybe it's more constantly swapping it out. You've got a little bit of of brought to you by Twitch or World 9 Gaming or whatever, or Humble Bundle. But it's also let's cut to a webcam that's always on the audience, or let's cut to I don't know, some other stuff, showing more prizes in that time. And I know there was a little bit of that, but there wasn't nearly enough of a balance. And I feel like after a while, I don't know, it would almost seem absurd to me when you watch the Super Bowl in a few weeks. Yes, they're going to have all their great ads and everything going on. But how absurd would it be to, we can't show you the full game. We've got to actually scrunch the game over here on 2/3 and always show you brought to you by Pepsi and Papa John's and all this
a
other
quarter
stuff.
quarter of your screen is just the logos. I see what you're saying. Okay. Sinister One, you got any thoughts on the layout?
Yeah, I agree with Darkman. I think it was a good improvement over past GDQs. I definitely liked what I saw, but I mean, I hear Spike as well. But it can be improved as always. I mean, there's always going to be things to improve on.
Sure.
I think I'd rate it maybe a little bit higher than Spike. I think B+. I might go with.
Okay.
Just for the fact that there was a lot of things that I saw that I liked, and yeah, I mean the thing with the sponsors, I agree 100%. But overall, like we've had complaints about layouts pretty much since we started.
Yeah, it's pretty common theme.
I think this is the first year that it's not going to be like one of the more complained about things. I think people are actually like, hey, this was actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
A lot of people were jumping on it. No. Sorry. Yeah, no, a lot of people were jumping on it, saying it was a good thing. The only reason why it's not a B+, just a note, now that you bring it up, is also the camera work, as Original Mess is bringing up. Obviously you had, the biggest gripe or the biggest example of it was Diddy Kong Racing, was, Tofu getting half of his right shoulder into the camera. That's probably exaggerating, honestly, in the opposite way.
I don't feel that that's fair to lump that in with the layout, though.
I kind of would almost, not because, not to make it like fall on the blame of the stream layout, because I don't think the stream layout accounts for that necessarily, but it does go into, like, I get what you're saying, like the general layout of how it's presented ultimately to the viewer.
Presentation, sure.
Yeah, we'll call it presentation.
But yeah, no, there were a lot of runs where the camera was not showing every runner.
Right. And I understand, like, I've been told, like, the camera lenses were very narrow. Like, we couldn't just, like, expand it and see more people. But instead of, you had your layout where it was like, bam, 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 3 game streams. The game streams, like, the size of them were perfect. I loved the actual game footage they had going on. And it's fine. Like, you got a webcam. It's not as expansive. I know eventually they went to this, like, sideways angle like they did for your race, Darkman, where they kind of, you were able to see all 3 of you. Yeah, so we were actually able to see all 3. It was crazy. It was crazy.
I thought initially they didn't, actually.
Because by the end of Diddy Kong Racing, I still didn't know what Joe D'Amelio looked like.
Yeah, that's right.
No idea.
I was waiting for Castle 4, like...
And half the audience thought Oxwis was Tofu because he was underneath. But instead of taking then up, 1/3 of the screen, it ended up being, with sponsors and other crap, is put up 2 camera angles. So one here's like a straight on view, one here's a sideways view. I think that sort of stuff would be great. Or even if, like you were saying, it was rotating between that and the sponsors and everything, then that could have been something that affects the layout.
I will say this too, on the top row of the layout, this is like very nitpicky, but I think that would have been a better spot for the sponsors than having them occupy kind of this whole bottom right corner. There was a whole top bar on every one of the stream layouts that just said, I think it just said like AGDQ, and then...
It didn't even say the full Awesome Games Done Quick. It just said like AGDQ.
I think it had the hashtag and it had like the Games Done Quick logo, and then there was just a bunch of space. And I'm thinking, you could, if you really feel the need to show the sponsors at all times, you could put them up there in that top bar, and then you've got room in that bottom corner if you want to show an audience cam, or if you want to show a hand cam, or whatever the case is. You've got room for something more focused on the marathon itself, and it doesn't get that sense that the sponsors are kind of overwhelming the event or kind of crowding the layout.
Like, don't get me wrong, showing sponsors is important. Like, no question about it. It's just, it can't be the only thing you show.
Right. Yeah, and then I guess one other really nitpicky thing I would add too is that the amount of game feed on the 2-player race layout was very small compared to what I guess you could have expected. I guess the 4-player race layouts were about the same dimensions. You got about the same amount of screen space on the 4-player layout as you did the 2-player. So that's a very nitpicky thing, but just something to work on maybe in the future. Overall, though, yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. B+, B, somewhere in that area. I think they're very good with some opportunity to improve. So If you guys have questions about that, we'll talk about it later in the show too, maybe with the Q&A from the chat. But let's move on now and talk about setup times, because that was a pretty noticeable thing to improve upon from this event. I did some math while I was at the event. I was a little bored.
I love this.
I did some math, and I wasn't doing it to be spiteful. I was curious. If you took the 10 worst setup times, and this was in the middle of the marathon, it was not by the time the marathon was over. If you took the 10 worst setup times and added them up, that was over 6 hours of setup time for 10 runs. And understandably, you've got your races and you've got some things that are going to take more time than others. But I think the smallest amount of time of those top 10 was just under or just over 30 minutes. And there were a lot of 35s. I think there was a 40. So with that being said, what would you recommend to reduce the setup times? What happened at this event that caused such big setup times? What can we do to maybe give some feedback rather than just say like, shame on you for taking forever between games? What would you recommend to streamline it?
I think it's just growing. Honestly, I mean, we had so many more races this year. Just a lot of different things going on. Different venue, I think it's going to improve if we stay at that same hotel and we had similar content in the next year's schedule. I think it would improve significantly just from experience.
Yeah, I completely agree with Sinister. No matter what, you're always going to have setup issues. It's growing pains. It's because I know some people have talked about like maybe you pay like professional people to come in and do it. Even they're going to have setup issues because you're not dealing with a small group of people. You're dealing with hundreds of runners and commentators who are coming in, all different sorts of consoles, games on PCs that are all completely, like some need this, some need that. Some are Super Meat Boy and will never work at a GDQ.
Right.
But in terms, I think there are a lot of things that they could try to do. My biggest thing I've talked about, and probably to the organizers and a lot of other runners, this is not a popular opinion, but I feel like it has to happen. You have to make setup blocks. They need to actually be, we've got this case where, we have a setup block here, but it's really just going to be a game. It's going to be a donation incentive. We're going to get VVVVV. We're going to get Animal Crossing. We're going to get your blindfolded OOT. We're going to get all these games in there. And it's going to suck, but you almost need to talk to runners beforehand and ask them, okay, if you're willing to come to this and possibly not get your run in because during your setup block, we might be an hour behind and we need that hour to catch back up, or maybe we just need the hour to go up and untangle some cords or some crap, like whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Then if you are willing to do that and still come in and possibly get your run in, that's awesome. Otherwise, you don't have to worry about it, and we'll go and find probably 50 other runners who are willing to be in that maybe bench slot to jump in and insert their game. I think that by itself, because UA said it the day afterwards, we were the amount of hours behind that our setup blocks were set up for. It was 6 hours.
Sure.
So if we actually used those setup blocks, then we would have been on schedule. Perfectly fine. That's the number one way to fix these problems. And then you still got the opportunity there. Sorry, go ahead.
Darkman, go ahead.
I think I have a good thing to that is, here's the way I look at it, right? It's like, at the same time, you don't want to tell a runner, hey, listen, we got to cut your run because we got to cut your potential bonus run because, we're way behind schedule. So I got to compromise for that. There's always a few runs during AGDQ that are submitted that are like 5 or 10 minute runs. So why not put those in the setup blocks? That way you just have that one 5 or 10 minute run. And if it gets met, it gets met. The run takes 10 minutes plus another 10 minutes of setup time. You still have that time there that's gained from that. So it's like a good compromise. Like, you could still get the bonus games.
So you're saying take the 5 minute and 10 minute games and don't schedule those ones. Just put them in the setup blocks.
Put them as bonus games, like how bonus games are now.
Okay, sure.
So basically, you're getting both. You're getting a bonus game and you're saving time with setup time. Because it seems like, aside from SGDQ last year, every single marathon ends up getting behind schedule. Right. So it seems to be a common theme. So why not just go with that?
Okay. I would add a few things too that, obviously the setup times that are posted on the website include things like if a runner was doing a bonus at the end of their run, like if they wanted to show off an extra stage after their run was over, if they wanted to show off a glitch at the end of their run. So you can't take those times 100% for face value. So like that's worth noting first of all. But I would also add that I don't think everything was run super efficiently, and there are some things that could be done to improve it. I think, Spike, you mentioned the other day that just getting people out of the pit after their run was over to bring people in, if you had a way to file people out and told them at the end of the run, okay, you need to, clear the area so we can get people in. Because one of the things I noticed, and this is just a small thing, you're not going to notice it on every run, but if you go back and watch, there's a lot of times where the tech station, races especially, they're just waiting for the runner to get to the front to hand off their console so that it can get plugged in. And how much quicker would that have been if the console was in the hands of the tech staff 4 or 5 minutes ahead of time? And really the only reason they didn't have it was because they were waiting for the runner to file through all the people. So it's little things like that where I think you could maybe make it a little more efficient. I know Flicky mentioned as well just the idea of putting the tech staff on some sort of timer, and whether or not they have to obey it, that's up to you, but just the idea that they're working under pressure, give them something, to motivate them to want to solve the issues quickly, and, little things like that can just reduce the
and not even
time.
just motivation like you're talking about. Again, it goes back to the same sort of thing where we do have this bonus game here. We need to get, like you're saying, it's showing here. A lot of this might not even be the tech staff's problem. I think a lot of people dump it on them, but a lot of it is also the runners getting in and out in this sense of, guys, we're already 5 minutes behind. You got to get out of the pit right now. We got to get more people in here right now. And maybe some of that is because you don't have anything to cut to. I'm going to go to something a community member of mine said in the chat, NKB, and I've been talking about this for a while, is you got to have in-between game stuff. You got to have stuff to sort of shadow all of this sort of somewhat nasty, awkward, get out of here, get in, give me your stuff, we need to plug this all in, get all set up, and not to bore the audience, I think also to an extent, to not run people off in between runs, is to have your videos you go to that are showing things about speedrunning or highlights from the day before, or just reminding you, hey, we got a run coming up, SMB3's coming up, let's show you some highlights from this runner, maybe some stuff he's done this year. That would take a lot of work, I understand, and it wouldn't be work for the tech people. It would be, but it would also be the work of other community members actually getting and helping this out. If you guys want to make setup go a lot faster, we are all a part of that, not just the tech.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say is I think the biggest thing we can do right now is to simply get more volunteers. And I think part of that falls on us to volunteer, and part of that falls on the GDQ staff as well, because I think one of GDQ's staff's biggest shortcomings is they're not great with communication. And I think, they always say, hey, we're looking for volunteers. But if you tell the community, listen, if we get more volunteers helping tech doing such and such, we could potentially save a lot of time in setup. If they put it out directly like that, I feel like they'll get a lot more help that way.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm curious, I'm not sure what the exact setup was for this GDQ compared to last AGDQ, but I remember at AGDQ 2014, they kind of had this cart that had all the consoles on it, and they just kind of had it sitting up in the front of the marathon room, so they could easily just swap out between, okay, if it's time for the SNES instead of the NES, okay, we'll just unplug these cords here and, put them in over there, and everything was physically in the same spot, so there wasn't as much of an exchange going on between runners where it was here, let me hand you my stuff. I think they even had duplicate, for races, they had 2 NESs up in the front, or 2 SNESs or whatever the case was. I don't know what the setup was like exactly this AGDQ, if they had a similar cart setup going on with the consoles or not.
Tower thing that had a bunch of consoles in it that was up there in the front. So,
so
it seemed like a good idea, and it worked okay, I guess. I mean, I only did one run, so
maybe it was only during races then, and just having the extra consoles up there. But I saw a couple times where people were bringing their own consoles up, and I feel like if that is the case, if going into it that you're in a race and your console needs to be up there, get it up there before your run starts, so that you can kind of give the tech staff a head start.
I'd almost like to know how much of it is just runners having this weird connection to their console, wanting it to be theirs and have that up there. Because to me, you want to look at the a lot of people are pointing at the big 40 minutes for 4-way races and stuff like that. That's almost a given. I almost understand that. It's why is it 13 minutes in between each solo Sega Genesis run? Is there any reason why a setup for a solo Genesis run in between another one should be any more than 5 minutes? And we can just literally get up there, pop out one game, pop in another one, put the mic on the guy, and go. So, I don't know. It does feel odd to me, and I feel like a lot of this just needs to be more pre-set up before you ever get to the run. Near the end of one Genesis run, we're already set up to go. All right, bam, if you need a console. A lot of this can also be taken care of, I believe, with more transparency from the runners in the actual game submissions.
Sure.
And that being, and I know people like Test Runner and others have talked to me about this, actually having stuff on the game submission form that, hey, I need this special kind of whatever for my game to make
Right.
it work. It's not just your standard like solo Super Nintendo run or whatever it needs to be.
Right.
That in addition to, we've also talked about a lot of what the setup time, like people look at the setup times right now on the old schedule now, a lot of that was eaten up because people are doing extra crap after the runs. And I feel that those need to be just as heavily scrutinized as the runs themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It can't be just this, oh, well, you know, and I will admit, I am part of that. The Tropical Freeze run, we allowed Goldfish to do a level 2 or 3 times after because we were 7 minutes underestimate. We were the first run of the marathon. Sure, let's go for it. When really it needs to be, okay, we're done with the run. We accepted your run, but you also submitted, here's this 7-minute glitch exhibition I can do, or this 3-minute bonus.
Right. So you're
super
saying
credits warp run.
You're saying anytime somebody wants to do a bonus at the end of their run, that should be included in their submission then?
It should be another
Without
submission
question.
that people put in. Yeah.
I think that's a
Like-
good idea.
Like they talk about it a lot during like donation incentives and whatnot. Like, hey, is it going to add time to your run? You know, if you want to add this incentive or whatever, not. So I think people just need to be more aware of that, and I think that's something maybe they can talk about in like the runners orientation, like they had this week. I don't remember. I was there, and I don't remember them talking about that. So I think if they talk about that, that'll definitely go a long way.
All right. Let's go ahead and we'll wrap it up there, and I'm sure we might get some questions at the end too. But we got to keep it going. We got to get to the fun question because it seems like all we've been doing so far is reviewing. So now I want or giving we're the critics. Now I want you to take the opposite angle. Give me the optimistic favorite run of AGDQ. I'm sure we got quite a few here, so we'll just kind of popcorn here. Give me a run and why. Sinister One, why don't you go first this time?
Well, I'm kind of biased, but I'm still gonna say it anyway. Ninja Gaiden Relay. I mean,
Ninja Gaiden Relay, good answer.
you can't get any better than that.
You guys did a good job on commentary, by the way. Went back and got to hear the commentary.
Excellent.
Very good.
Commentary. Oh my god.
Thank
Right
you.
up there with Super Metroid.
I mean, I think that like just background for people that don't know. I've said this a lot before, but we did a mock relay, and it finished like a minute apart. Like it was horrible. So we were like, okay, it's gonna be better than that. It's gonna be better than that in the actual marathon, but we weren't expecting it to be like literally that close. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, no, it scripted itself really well at the end too. For a while, it looked like Ninja Gaiden 3 there was maybe a little bit of a lead developing, and then
It was, but see, that's what you gotta love about Ninja 3 being last is because it's so unpredictable. So it's like things are gonna happen, things are gonna go wrong, and you just have to hope that it's like it goes wrong on both sides and not just for one person or something, which they both had a death in Ninja Gaiden 3.
I know a lot of people in the chat here saying Battle Block Theater was one that they really enjoy. I know that room was pretty packed too. And I guess the developer commentary, I wasn't there for it, so I don't know, but I guess the developer commentary was really funny from what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people really just enjoying that interaction. Tetris the Grandmaster, another one people are saying.
One thing I'll say quickly about Battle Block Theater, and that I think is a positive thing for our community going forward, is that yet on the surface, there was a donation incentive with Battle Block Theater, but some donation incentives are hype, others are just kind of there, and I don't know a lot about the donation incentive, but really, you gave a game like a almost 3-hour time slot without really any idea that this was going to make money or not. Mike and the crew definitely took a quote-unquote risk on this, and as it turned out, it was just 3 hours of pure entertainment. That you had the developers in there with their commentary, and you had PJ and Mecha, two of the most entertaining guys in the biz, and just kind of allowed that to be in a primetime slot, as it turned out. Just 3 hours of hype. A lot of people were saying the marathon was kind of a letdown for them up until that point. That was the second night, prime time. And that really just kind of brought the marathon alive. I think that speaks a lot to this maybe didn't raise the most dollars, or at least maybe not on paper. I don't know how much it raised. On paper, it shouldn't have. But as it turned out, just on pure entertainment value, we need to think about runs like this being in the marathon. So huge shout outs to PJ to Mecca, the developers, and everyone for just making that a great show. So
Nice. Darkman, you got a favorite?
Kaizo.
Oh, good answer.
yeah.
Kaizo was my favorite run. I mean, Dram just knows how to put on a show. He can play the worst game in existence. He can play big rigs and put on a show. I mean, it's just the guy knows how to entertain, and Kaizo is just this notoriously difficult game. And it's just how in the world is this guy finishing this run, let alone doing it in 24 minutes? And I mean, yeah, sure, for his standards, it was
Right.
meh run, but you know what? It's just, for me, it's I knew he wasn't having a great run, but it was just mind blowing just to see it all happen, and especially the second to last stage where he struggles so much in the first part, and then after he gets to the checkpoint, just goes ahead and does the whole second part, which is supposed to be it's supposed to be harder. He does it in one try, and I'm
and he's got to be rattled at that point because I think that was one of those stages where he was death cycling quite a bit too up to that point, and then he just cruises through it, makes it look easy. So. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure if you ask Dram, he'll be like, "Oh, that wasn't my best run," or I could have done better. But I find it hard to criticize that when you're able to pull off Kaizo in any caliber at an event like that. And so many people in the room too. There were people shouting out, heckling him during the run. It's how can you maintain your focus on one of the hardest games of all time?
Right.
When people are just shouting. That's one element that I think is kind of brand new to GDQs now because there are so many people in that room. You just can't predict. You can call serious time, but it's not going to be guaranteed anymore because there's just too much going on in the room. So just for him to be able to put up with, I guess, that really full capacity room and put that run together, I thought that was really impressive.
Absolutely. I'm the shout outs guy. I have to give a shout outs to the community in the room. That was, I think, there might have been a couple others that came close. Kaizo was the only true standing room only. If they were charging tickets, they would have made a lot of money during Kaizo. That people really came out, not so much to support Kaizo, but really support one of our favorite community members, Dram. I love that. So
yeah. Absolutely. Any other runs that we want to bring up here? I want to point out, just in general, Blecky's commentary making a lot of runs really enjoyable.
So good.
I thought that, he stepped it up. Umihara was a game that nobody in the Twitch chat would have cared about, or, the reaction to it would have been, oh, okay. It's a 2-minute run. Nobody has played it outside of the people who are running it and the people who are watching it. And Blecky's commentary, just the way he delivered on that, was so amusing that I think it would not have been the same run without that.
A quick thing about that. So basically one of the 502 members made he made a website and it tracked graphs of people's follower accounts from before AGDQ and then until afterwards to see how they did. So before Blecky even did his Goof Troop run, I believe he had something plus 1,200 followers, something like that, just on commentary. Just on commentary.
Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Impossible.
I can guarantee you that's never happened before to anybody.
It's insane.
I check my follower count after GDQ. I lose 20 followers. So plus 1,200. That's crazy.
And people talk about that, and that's maybe something you can also kind of lump in with other things through the stream. People always say, "Oh, who are people doing couch commentary? I want to know their Twitches as well. I want to follow them." But usually, you look afterwards, and the runner got however many hundred, and then the commentators got 2. It's a very little amount. How did Blecky end up getting 1,200 before his name was ever put up on the stream? That was impressive, and I'm glad the Twitch audience accepted it so well and loved him so much.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I thought that was just really cool. And the thing is, Blecky will tell you too. I mean, he's been going to GDQs for forever, but I've got to imagine it's a good feeling when you've been to so many of these and you can just kind of fall into this expectation that okay, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, and I don't really expect too much out of it, I guess, from a reaction. But that's got to be a really good feeling just to get that kind of reaction after your umpteenth GDQ. To just finally get recognized for that. I thought that was really cool. So, but yeah, commentary in general, this marathon, just a lot of people stepping it up, putting on good
Absolutely.
shows. So I'll tell you another one that I was impressed by was Mario RPG. I thought getting the super jumps, almost 2 full sets of 100 at the end of that run, and 100 earlier on. The booster hill though, I'm gonna be critical. That was the worst booster hill I've ever seen.
I like an asshole. I said 6 into the mic.
Yeah.
And I was like, "There's no way."
Right,
He almost got it. He beat me out by 1. He got a 7 at the end. What was that?
Yeah. Oh man. No.
Yeah, shout outs to Checkers for his awesome run, and shout outs to, once again, another great couch commentary crew. There were a lot of really good couch commentary crews throughout this entire marathon. Pi was as beautiful as he's ever been. Max sellout percent, got the dollars up there, and that was cool. Like, the room really came together. That was fun. We were having a lot of fun, especially as the marathon went on. Also, shouts to the Tropical Freeze couch. We were awesome. Just gonna plug that real quick.
There you go.
So, yeah.
I saw that one. The Dawn Closet having to get their shout out on the show. All right. I see how it is.
Quick shout out to the Mega Man 1 race also.
Mega Man 1 race.
In like a second. It was just ridiculous. Great ending to that
race.
race.
What I love about that is that it was one of those situations where you go, okay, you know, Cool Kid's got this. And then Dexter skips the ammo at the end and you're like, like there's this moment like, oh my god, did he think of that on the fly? Like, was that impromptu? Just he's like, anything to win at this point, I gotta go for it. It was sick.
Triple candy, man.
Triple candy. Yeah, that's crazy too. Oh man.
And there was this great dynamic within the Mega Man 1 race that I loved, where it sort of did feel like, I don't know, your Karate Kid type, you know, like underdog story of like, you've got, you know, these 2 like gaming juggernauts over here from Sweden, of Dexter and
they got the flag in the front row, and they're like all their Swedish buddies right behind
they're
them.
Wearing like their
blue and yellow shirts,
proud, just like popping their jerseys, and you've got little like 15-year-old like baby American coming up here, and yet throughout it there was this exciting, in 3 straight levels, I don't know which levels they were, but one level, all 3 levels in a row, one level ADEF was in the lead, the next level like Dexter was in the lead, and the next level Cool Kid was in the lead. So there was this exciting back and forth, even if it was a little bit of a deficit at the end. It was still exciting. You could tell ADEF was having fun. So yeah, Mega Man 1 was definitely a very successful race.
Yeah. I want to challenge the chat here to ruin our chat, because we've got it on screen now for, you know, the second time ever. Can everybody just type the name of their favorite run? Just that's it. Don't sugarcoat it. Just put the name of the game. We'll let you guys spam the chat, and we'll come back to this in a little bit. But I want to make sure we get through all of our topics, because we've got so many of them here. I say that, and we've got 2 left, but. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about Get Yourself Speedrunning, which happened this week, last Saturday. First one of 3. It is, well, why don't you go ahead and break it down for us, Spike? What's going on with Get Yourself Speedrunning? What's this all about?
Yeah, we had our first, like you were talking about, we had our first week this past week. Super Mario Brothers 3, Warpless. Very successful. I think we had right at 140 entrants, which I don't know where that stacks up with the other major races in the past, but it's certainly a milestone. And you looked throughout the viewer list. And I guess to explain a little bit of what it is, you also probably wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Was, I realized, I'm just going up. People are like, what the hell is he talking about? But what it is, it's a way for us post AGDQ. I know Blecky does a much better job of explaining this, but you know, every year post AGDQ in particular, a lot of people are watching this, you know, kind of stumbling upon AGDQ and saying, oh, this is really cool. I kind of want to get into this. But then they don't have that immediate outlet to get into it. And Blecky and the SRL crew decided, let's make that. Let's give them that opportunity right here. Let's bring Speedruns Live back to what its base intention was, which was just to really get people in and just race a bunch of games that they liked. You know, kind of post the pure SDA days where it was really just get your world record or your recorded run and send it in. Let's get everyone in and make a real community feel out of this, which I think has really helped the GDQs and the speedrun community grow a lot. So with Get Yourself Speedrunning, we're giving you 3 consecutive weeks here where you can get yourself into speedrunning. Last week we did Super Mario Brothers 3. All 3 of these races are starting at 2 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah, and if you go to speedrunslive.com, it's the huge banner on the front, so hard to miss.
Right. Yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Yeah, check the banner. We had the Super Mario Brothers 3 Warpless race, where myself and Golden are, I think, honored. I think it's a lot of fun we get to have every week.
Absolutely.
I was going to say you can disagree with
I'm
me.
like,
Right?
no, I'm like bowing, like I'm so respectful of like we got Duckfist on commentary.
Oh,
and
and thank God. Blecky was smart though. He got us two on it, but he was like, I can't let these idiots do it by themselves. I need someone who actually knows what the hell they're talking about. Because it would have been a lot of, man, I remember dying there last night.
I've played that level at various points in my life. Yeah, I really do kind of, I feel a little bit out of place doing the commentary. I love doing it. I'm appreciative to get the chance, but it's good to have somebody there that really knows what they're talking about alongside us, and we can kind of just be the color commentators for it, and they can be the more other way around. We can be the play-by-play. They can be the analysts. So
yeah, right.
I'm Pam Oliver, and
play-by-play is probably being a little kind about it. We are the peanut gallery in this.
I'm Tony Siragusa down there wearing my rambunctious shirt. I don't know, just commenting on whatever's going on the sidelines, but.
Right.
But
yeah, huge shout outs to obviously Blecky and the crew. Shout outs to Duckfist. If any of you haven't watched it yet, Duckfist does an amazing, like he should have his own podcast by himself. He is incredible. Sinister, you and him should start off your own rival podcast against us now.
Just the first split. The first split.
Yeah.
We'll deliver the news first. I don't know.
Yeah, we're the idiots, and you guys are like the NFL Live countdown. That's, Boomer and all them. Like, the actual, like, respectful crew who know what the hell they're talking about. But yeah, no, Duckfist did an amazing job. And coming up, so if you guys didn't join in the race, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people I saw were saying in chat, oh, if I wasn't a scrub, I would do this. It doesn't matter. I think the last person who finished SMB3, which he actually finished, a lot of people didn't. Like, 40 people didn't finish. He did it in, like, 19 hours.
Yeah. So almost took a full day, man. Yeah.
Just get in there and play the video game and have fun and get some joy out of, hey, I sat down, I got to remember this game. I was in a big race with, there out of 140 entrants, there was, maybe 10, 15, 20 recognizable names. And there was 120 names I had never heard of.
Right. Just people getting in to get in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you also saw, in the middle spectrum, a lot of us knew, the Wenchuk Attacks, the Karuas. We knew those names, but there were a lot of names. Ogleb, who's always in my chat, I had no idea he was part of the SMB3 community. I had no idea people like Mr. Cab knew how to play the game really well. So seeing those times where I was like, oh, these are other people who are actually pretty solid at this game, people I can go follow.
Right.
But to jump off of this last week, it was so much fun. We're having 2 more weeks of it coming up this Saturday. So in 2 days from right now, we're going to be doing Link to the Past Master Sword Race. If you guys are looking out for a much shorter run, Link to the Past, if you know, Dark Man, you might know a little bit better than me.
I can.
If I'm the guy who knows nothing about Link to the Past, how long do you think a blind run of Master Sword is going to take me?
If you know where to go, sub-hour. For like 95% of the people.
Okay. I wanted to make sure I met the requirement.
Yeah, it is. It's really a very, very easy thing to do. I would say it's one of the most blind friendly races you can do. It's very simple.
I want to point out the last time they did a big Master Sword race, it was like Christos Owen kind of streaming during what was going to be like he was going to farm some points back in the days when farming points was a thing, and it just kind of exploded into this huge Master Sword race. I had like a 53-minute time, and I felt like, oh, that's terrible. Like, oh, it's so bad. But then you said sub an hour, so
it's 53 minutes is fine. Like if you don't know where you're going, then it might take you a little longer. But I think Speedruns Live tweeted out a thing of the route, so just get the route, and as long as you have the route, you'll be fine. It's really a very simple race.
So Master Sword this weekend, and then after that, Sonic 2, correct?
And then Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I believe also in the guide it gives you an idea of the level select. Okay. Which will probably help a lot, honestly. There's a lot of people who will get all the way to Death Egg and then Death Cycle for like hours.
Right. And fortunately, I think on Sonic they're allowing people to use stage select or continue, I guess you could say.
Right, exactly.
Not always the case with the Sonic games, but they're going to allow it for this race, I think. So
yeah, which it's still cool that they got a non-Nintendo game in there, something maybe a little more challenging. So Yeah, and going off of what Crag Attack just said, 8 Mavericks and MX1, if they did another one of these in the future, 8 Mavericks is another really friendly race.
That's I think where they're heading with this too, is that, you know, like these are going to be the immediate ones after AGDQ, but I think in general they're looking for opportunities to stream things on the Speedruns Live account and try to do more races like this. So
Absolutely.
as long as they let us, you know, keep talking and they don't hate us that much, I think you and I, Spike, have been both just thrilled to be a part of it. So
absolutely,
would love to
the
see more
only
of these.
negative is that we don't actually get to be in the race.
I don't get to play. Yeah,
and
that's a positive for me, but
I say that out of, you know, genuine, like, I'm jealous of all of you that get to be in the race. Take this opportunity. It's so much fun. Hey, I got like a 3-hour time in SMB3. I think like 70 people cut me. A lot of them is probably their blind playthrough.
Yeah.
So just jump in there, have fun, do what you can, and, you know, come back for more.
All
I think
right.
they're going to do a lot more of these in the future.
On that note, let's go ahead and take a look at this week's glitch, please, as we try to wrap the show up here. This one is probably the most bizarre one we've ever had. That's all I can say. We've got Alta Biscuit playing
what happens when you high jump on a
Superstar
barrel?
Saga.
Yeah.
And hold that thought, he's not actually playing Superstar Saga anymore. He wrong warps to Mario Brothers.
What?
What?
So good.
That's crazy.
What?
He
This
just
makes no sense.
I don't even know where to be. This is beyond rocket science. I don't understand what's going on here.
I
He pulls a task bot.
I just called
What is
Mario
this?
Brothers from within
Okay.
Superstar Saga.
To be
How
Spike,
did
you
that
have to go-
happen?
You have to go back and actually listen to the audio. It makes it even better.
Yeah, no, we got a little bit in there. We might have been talking over it, but he's just like, what? Like, even he doesn't know what's going on anymore in this game. This game is so busted.
Now, to be 100%
Wow.
clear, this game is in
I'm-
the game, right? You can go like play it. I'm assuming on in an arcade room inside the game. or
I don't
something.
remember. I'm assuming it's a bonus game somewhere in the game, or like it's embedded in the programming. I don't assume he just like created Mario Brothers, but it wouldn't surprise me anymore. Nothing surprises me anymore. I'm assuming that yeah, it's just somewhere in the code, and he wrong warped to it.
Right.
But
If it wasn't anywhere in the code, then he would have won up the task.
that's
bot.
right.
That
TaskBot,
would've-
eat your heart out. You're out of the marathon. We got a new entrant, but. No, that's really cool. And thanks again for submitting that, by the way. Our inbox is... people forgot we existed during AGDQ, so it was nice to see that we had some submissions. And if you want to be one of those people... I got to point the other way now, because I moved everything on the new layout. I'm over this way now.
Oh,
I'm going to confuse the bejesus out of me. I'm keeping it G-rated here, over there. The top right corner, the final split at gmail.com.
I'm not even gonna attempt to point.
There you go.
I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this.
There you go. Oh,
Yeah,
Darkman. Look at that. Look at Darkman go. He's got it. Yeah. And of course, all of our old episodes are on our YouTube as well. So be sure to check that out, as well as, you know, all the other social media stuff. Maybe we got to get on some more social media just so we can add more icons. I feel like we could fill that corner. But for now, if you guys have questions in the chat related to anything that happened at AGDQ or in the last couple of days, or if you just got some personal questions for us, feel free to throw those up right now.
Problems, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do our best. We're not certified therapists or anything, but if you feel the need to get some advice from us, you guys got any good plans for the weekend while we're waiting for questions? Anything you're looking forward to aside from obviously, you know, we're doing the commentary on Master Sword Race.
Yeah. I guess bouncing off of that, I actually, because I can't do the races, Golden, we should race it. Friday night.
The gauntlet has been thrown down.
Yeah.
Before
I'm kind of scared.
Loser buys Taco Bell. I don't know.
All right.
Pi and I made that bet like months ago. We never did it. But yeah, I've been doing the link to the. I've been doing like I did SMB3 last Friday night, building up to the race. Just as like, all right, insert my time here. I think I'll probably do that for Link to the Past as well. So that should be pretty fun. Be nice to see where I would have stacked up with everybody else.
I will do it, but I will be very upset that I'm streaming it. I think I don't know. Last time I streamed Link to the Past, that was
We
probably
don't
the worst
have to
gameplay.
stream it if you don't.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
The rules. Everybody else has to.
Only you and me have to know. We'll do it over like
All
Skype.
that-
I'll just stream my gameplay feed over Skype. How about that? We'll keep it.
I was
Only-
about to say,
only-
you better not do this over Speedruns Live, or else I'll have to bust you guys.
There,
All right,
there we go.
I see a question for me.
Okay.
Crack
Go for it.
Attack. He says, when is Ninja Gaiden 3 Sinister? I think you know the answer to that, Crack Attack. We had a deal going, Crack Attack has to make a certain highlight video for me.
Okay.
I'll just say that there's ninja fapping involved and leave it at that. You
Whoa.
guys figure it out from there.
Yeah, I heard Crack Attack throwing that around in the practice room. I didn't know what it meant at first, so I was just like, oh, that's.
Oh, you'll find out. Don't worry.
Yeah, but no, that's really funny. I like that. Of all the things, I heard Throw Your Girlfriend was the one I learned at AGDQ this year. Donkey Kong Country 2, there's a trick called Throw Your Girlfriend.
Yes, I like that.
There's still a lot of clever names out there for tricks, so
Right.
some creative stuff going on there. I saw somebody ask about what the Japanese runners did and just do they enjoy AGDQ or whatever. They all had a blast. I think like the biggest thing for them was just kind of breaking out of their shell. It's kind of a culture shock just being invited to an event like that, and it was very stressful just waiting for them to arrive. But once they were there, a lot of people were excited to see them. I'm glad that people went up and talked to them, weren't afraid to talk to them, and strike up conversations. I saw Ohan and Dexter trading strats in Ninja Gaiden one morning. That was cool to see. Ox was doing he had like a huge crowd when he's playing Idolmaster and Galgun in the practice room. And he won like $300 or something doing the track and field. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was a great story.
Yeah, he's just fistful of dollars all of a sudden. Yeah, and Hanage too. I know he had a huge blast hanging out with the Castlevania 4 runners, and they were thrilled to get to hang out with him too. So they all had really good times, and that made me just extremely happy because I didn't want them to come here and then just have like an awful experience. So
Sure.
good to see they had so much fun. We actually did take them to the DC monuments and stuff too. I posted some pictures.
Yeah, the pictures.
Yeah, I was going to link them, but I don't have the link, so I guess you'll just have to find them. Somebody will have the link. I tweeted out the album a while ago, but yeah, they had a lot of fun, so that was good to see, and it's just motivating, and hopefully it means that AGDQ 2016 we could see similar JRTA2.
For
Maybe.
those that actually weren't there at the venue, Golden was basically like the father to them. Like he was like their manager, their agent, their like father. Like he just went around wherever.
I felt so
Yeah.
bad because I didn't want to be over. I know I was overbearing. Like that just had to happen. Like
it was good what you did, Golden. I think
Thank
they would
you.
have been really kind of like overwhelmed.
Thank
without
you so much.
so.
No,
I love
it
pre Diddy Kong Racing. Oxus is setting up, and I'm like, Golden, you should sit down. We're out in the audience, not even up at the pit. And Golden is pacing back and forth like the mother with the daughter in the beauty pageant. I just hope he does well. Or she, I don't know.
I wanted to win for Team Japan, man. I wanted him to show up and do well. So it was nerve wracking watching that. And then Castlevania 3, I understand that Ohan got a little bit of the Darkman TV during that. So it was unfortunate, but the first couple days it was like, okay, come on, like I know this can happen. They're all really good, and so it was good to see some better results towards the end of the week too, and they were having fun the whole time, so that was good. But yeah, it gave me a way to be involved in the marathon anyway. I didn't get to do any runs or do commentary or anything, so I was excited to get to kind of be their player manager, if you want to say that, but. I don't know. It's just a good experience all around, and it makes me want to do a JRTA 2. So that's cool. I know there's a lot of people that people still want to see. SVA's been mentioned, VSON's been mentioned, Bicord. I've heard lots of names thrown around. I'm sure you guys have a million other names too, but
Dongari.
There we go, Dongari, Hotarubi. People are saying I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, no, that was a lot of fun, and they had a lot of fun. So didn't mean to like ramble on for 20 minutes, but.
Sure.
Did that. There were other questions out there in the chat. Now it's just everybody's just chatting. So
the questions are gone.
They're gone. We ran out of questions.
While you're looking for the next question, the one thing I forgot, I really genuinely wanted to bring up during the HDQ recap was I want to give a huge shout outs to runners that had rough beginnings and still finished really strong. That includes one of our fellow guests right here, Darkman and Mega Man 5, after playing on that crap TV. Hanage, for a lot of people said if he doesn't die on the open, like the level 2 or whatever it is, then he had the exact same run as Furious Paul, who ended up winning the race and having an amazing run. And Baba in the Mega Man X race, who somehow dies twice on the intro and then plays like a literal god from there. If you go back and watch his run post the 2 deaths, it was like a world record caliber run. Somehow does not come in last place, which will blow your mind.
Yeah. That Mega Man X race, I don't know what was going on there, but that was the goofiest race I think I've ever seen. Just All around.
That was the the football game where there's like 17 turnovers, there's flags left and right, but it went into triple overtime.
Yeah,
So
somehow at the end it all
everyone
worked
remembers
out, but
Right.
it's pretty bizarre. Questions here. What do you think can be improved in future GDQs? We kind of mentioned that already. That was kind of the whole show. But
that was
basically the show. But thanks for
Do
tuning
stuff
in.
better,
Thanks for tuning in for the end. We appreciate I don't know. Is there anything that comes to mind that we didn't talk about, or should we just move on to the next question?
in terms of doing better.
Next question.
Sinister one says next question, denied.
Next question.
What's the
okay.
agent's
Talk about that
name?
for another hour.
All
so
right.
let's
All
just
right.
next
Yeah,
one.
good point. If you could have one run in SGDQ no matter what would it be? Superstar Saga for me. I feel like that was
FFT?
AGDQ.
Yeah.
Ooh, whoa.
Yeah,
spike.
not
Okay.
not that Claude's gonna be at SGDQ, but FFT.
Right.
FFT,
yeah.
man. Congrats
Super-
to Claude on the any percent record, by the way, getting that 358. So,
sub 4, pretty crazy.
and I saw Chess
No,
Jerk asking in the chat too about the FFT race. They had one upstairs in the casual room at AGDQ. Got to watch that. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh,
So
dang.
they don't tell. I'm probably going to get banned from the marathon for mentioning FFT, but I did watch the race. So
Yeah.
just between us.
I guess too, jump because Bujin just brought up off of the whole like stuff to improve for the future, and I know there are always technical issues every year once again, but hopefully that will have more of an opportunity to actually get a dress rehearsal for a lot of runners to get in there, play their games on the TVs, and make sure those are all good because as we just talked about, they were a problem.
Yeah,
So-
no, it'd be good to get a couple of runners to try out their runs in their entirety, not just don't just have them sit down for 30 seconds and approve it or something, but just to try them out and make sure that doesn't happen. And fortunately, it did seem like they were replacing TVs when people were mentioning that it was a problem. So
Glad.
yeah, and also just getting in LCDs when people wanted them to. I thought that was interesting that there were so many people playing on LCD, but they were pretty responsive to that. So that was pretty good stuff. I think that's probably enough questions. I think we've exhausted a lot of questions. So should we move to the speech? Is that
Sure.
how the show works? Did we get rid of this segment yet? Can we?
Dude,
No.
I thought you guys got rid of this, dude.
Yeah. What's
It's
going on
coming
here?
back.
Why is it back? What? When can we?
we literally just can't delete it.
No, we can't. But this is a good speech. This is a good speech. So I guess what is the speech this time around? Do we know?
So I'll go ahead and take the speech.
Okay.
It's exciting to me that Sinister One gets to be here as well, as maybe a sort of passing off the baton. Ever since Sinister left us, it really has left a gigantic hole in the show. We always, Golden and I were always very lonely when we do the pre-game sort of like figuring out, just piecing the show together, our production meetings. So when Sinister left, that took away a lot of, honestly, the most fun part of the week, just getting to chill and hang out and talk. And Sinister was also just always a really good host. But when Golden and I were talking about who would be our dream replacement hosts, two names came up in particular. And as it turned out, one of them was actually the Dark Man. And I would like to welcome the Dark Man as one of our new full-time hosts.
Yay! Hey, there we go. Woo! Welcome aboard. We Fit Trainer. I don't know. I was trying to find something celebratory, and all I found was my We Fit Trainer.
I was sitting here like,
I'm like, I was gonna
oh,
throw some confetti, or I don't have any of that. No, I just happy We Fit Trainer. Happy yoga pants to you for joining the team. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
So, people in the chat saying like,
Congrats,
I
man.
called that. I knew that was gonna happen. I totally saw that.
So, yeah, no, that Dark Man, like, I just want to say here in front of everybody, and we've said it behind closed doors as well, I am not blowing smoke up anybody's asses during this. Genuinely, I think Sinister brought you up as well. Like,
Yeah, I did.
you and one other person, but
I did, and I was really glad when you guys were like, yeah, and I was like, all right, but good to see it really happening now, and glad that you're taking over here, Dark Man. Awesome stuff.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, I love coming on the show. Like, 3 or 4 times I've been on it. It's been fantastic. But now, coming on every week, it's just great. It's just talking about speedrunning. I love doing that, talking with Golden and Spike all the time, and whoever guests we're going to have, it's just going to be great. Look forward to it.
I'm so thrilled to have you on the show, and I felt like it's like we just keep asking more and more of you. Like at AGDQ, it was like, okay, can you take us to the DC monuments, and I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm asking Darkman to just like wheel us around everywhere, but now he's gonna be on the show too. I don't blame you if like 2 weeks from now you just change your mind and be like, no, I'm done. That's it. It's, you know, if you want to leave, you can leave. That's fine by me. But as long as you're here, we appreciate it, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So appreciate you jumping on for however long it might be. It should be pretty good. So, chat's popping off now, and apparently yoga pants is the new thing. So, all right, I'll wear my yoga pants for the next episode. But that's where we leave you this week. That's the end. I guess, Spike, if you've got a raid target, maybe now would be the time.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and find a raid target. While I'm finding that raid target, do you actually want to go ahead and plug Mystery Tournament?
Yeah, I can do that quick. We didn't actually mention this during our planning of the show here, but Mystery Tournament 6 is coming up soon. I believe submissions are open for that, so if you want to participate in that, again, a mystery tournament, it's the Speedruns Live blind racing tournament, so to speak. You enter and play in a series of one-on-one matches with people who have never played these games before, and you try to complete certain goals in them, just like beat the second world of the game or things like that. And it's a head-to-head tournament. Last time, I think there was over 100 entrants. It's been that way for a while now. Pretty popular event. So if you would like to participate in that, the link, Darkman so generously posted it as I was speaking. There it is, mystery.beatthegate.m. I just like how it like splits up the word at the end there. Mystery.beatthegate.m. But go head on over there, sign up. I encourage you all to participate. I hope I don't get more MS-DOS games like I always do, because I always get the weird DOS games, but should be good. Yeah, I signed up again. I'm ready. I hope you guys are ready for my complaining, because I'm sure I'll complain about what games I get, but should be fun. With that being said, did I stall long enough? Did you get your
I think
target
okay.
there?
We got one. We got one. All right. So, building off of our glitch, please.
Uh-oh.
I've actually always wanted to raid him, so this is good. This is good. Am I spelling it right?
I don't know until you enter it. I can't help you. You're on your own.
We'll find out.
And let's just go with.
I'm waiting for it. Like, damn it.
Suspense.
I wasn't the fastest typer. So.
I've seen you play Scramble. I know that.
Shut up.
For 10 points on Scramble Cat. TAC.
All right, go check out Alta Biscuit. I'm pretty sure that's his stream.
There you go.
So we're gonna hope. And post AGDQ hype because I'm real creative. So yeah, go check him out. He's a cool guy. And
all right,
we should really get him into SGDQ. So.
On that note, I guess we'll see you back here next Thursday. Darkman, Spike, and myself will be back. Sinister One, you're welcome to take a vacation. You don't have to come back if you don't want to. But
all right, I'll take a break.
There you go. If you do want to come back, though, you're more than welcome to. Just let us know.
I would listen to the 4 every time.
Yeah, if it was just us 4 talking, I don't know. I mean, we'd have a lot of fun. I don't know that might get old for the viewers, but we'd have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, let us know if you want to come back, because you're always welcome here. So.
Will do.
On that note, guys, your run's not over. How do you say? What's the phrase? I don't even remember anymore. Your run is not over until you hit the final split. Did I get that right? Was that close enough? We're going with it.
Remember, guys.
Whatever. That's
the run is not. Yeah.
That's okay. We're going with that. It was close enough. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend.
Professional ending.
That was just fantastic.